going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the brand new Battlefield game is right around the corner, and honestly, a lot of people are very positive when it comes to the information that we have been seeing. But I'm going to be real with you guys. If this one thing is not incorporated correctly, I don't think it's going to be, the death of the next Battlefield game, but it is going to cause a lot of issues, and I'm a tad bit worried that it's not going to be implemented because we only realistically saw it in one of the most recent Battlefield games, and pretty much every other Battlefield game you could think of completely disregards it. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 1 Eastern Time. Everything between Battlefield, Call of Duty, Splitgate, and maybe even Gears of War E-Days we get closer to launch. By all means, like I said, if you're interested in that stuff, subscribe and hit that bell. And I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch. Today, we are not going to be streaming, though, on Tuesday. It's going to be a little bit of an off type of stream day, but we will be back on Wednesday playing 2042 for the brand new event. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out and, chat it up with me while I try it out, by all means, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the brand new Battlefield game, we already know the devs said they went to each and every individual title and kind of nitpick what were the best parts of these games and what were the worst parts of those games, and then obviously implemented them all into the brand new Battlefield title. But one thing that really worries me, and again, we don't have any confirmation on what it's going to be like and what it won't be like within Battlefield, but again, it's still kind of up in the air, and I wanted to discuss it, is the spotting system within the brand new Battlefield. And I really do genuinely think that they should be pointing a little bit more towards the direction of Battlefield 5. Now, if anybody's brand new to Battlefield on this channel, the way Battlefield 5 works is that you don't really 3D spot any opponents. You 2D spot them. So if you see an enemy and you hit the spot button, it's going to put up a little, red, whatever indicator on the location where that soldier was last seen. It's not going to be a 3D spot. It's not going to directly spot them on the minimap and then track their movement for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds and then obviously vanish away. It only pings exactly where they are at the moment you hit that button. Now, the reason why I think that this system is far superior than pretty much any other Battlefield game where, includes 3D spotting, is that it takes a bit more skill, not only for you to engage with enemies, but at the same time, it allows you on, offense when you're trying to push objectives and you are the one being spotted to have a different, mindset when it comes to engagements and how you can actually take on battles. Now, before I describe, the offensive side, let me describe I guess I can call it the defensive side, or when you are the individual spotting. And a lot of these Battlefield games, yes, gun skill is very crucial, map knowledge, extraordinarily crucial, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that you must learn to become a top player in the Battlefield, environment, but I will say a lot of the time in these Battlefield games, it all comes down to red dot chasing or name tag chasing. All you have to do in a lot of these situations is just spam the spot button as many times as you could possibly imagine. And eventually, you'll spot someone, whether they're out in the open, hiding in a bush, behind cover, whatever it is. And once again, you go to engaging the red dots. You're not really using your eyes and trying to find the opponents. You kind of program yourself to use the spot button to find opponents for you. And that is not, in my personal opinion, a good way of playing any type of shooter. I don't think people should be relying on the spot button to engage with enemies. I think they should be relying on, again, visuals, understanding the maps, understanding where you should be rotating, and using your eyes to see the opponents. And yes, sometimes you can't see enemies. And, it's pretty common in Battlefield games, unless it's very, bright and vibrant, but they've been holding off on those skins, obviously, when it comes to Battlefield, 2042. There's some, but they didn't go absolutely crazy. But some of the previous games like Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, so on and so forth, where you actually kind of blend it in with the environment, yeah, it can kind of be tedious, and I can see why people want the spot system to be 3D spotting so they can find those people hiding. But like I said, I think it takes way less skill, and it puts too much reliance on a spotting tool and hunting down red dots. And then when it comes from the offensive end, being the person trying to push the enemies, engage with flags, and working up to objectives, it's a nightmare. I'm just going to say it right here, right now. It's an absolute nightmare. And I know people are going to say, well, just give a little indication to let people know that, you're spotted. So if you are spotted, you know that you're on someone else's minimap and you can play accordingly. That's no fun. I don't care if I know if I'm spotted or not. I mean, yeah, I kind of wish I do know that I'm spotted, but at the end of the day, if I'm constantly getting spotted every 5 seconds, the indication telling me that I'm spotted is not going to give me any confidence to move up, because I'm just going to sit there, wait until I'm not spotted, move a little bit again, get spotted again, sit there, wait a little bit, move up again, get spotted, sit there, wait a little bit. It kills the momentum of actually playing the game, finding good flanks, finding good routes, and trying to pull off outstanding plays within Battlefield, because all it takes is a one spot and your whole route is going to be completely exposed. Your movement, how quickly you're advancing up to the opponents. Are you going to flank around the right side? Are you flanking around the left side? Are you changing your mind? Were you going to the right side and now you're backtracking back to the other side? Again, I can understand where some people might think it's good for, having visuals and being able to spot opponents easily, and some of the maps are a bit larger and harder and more condensed to, actually notice the enemies, but I think the trade-off of not having 3D spotting is way better. I don't mind having to struggle in certain engagements spotting enemies if it means that the majority of the time I push up on OBJs, they can't 3D spot me, which allows me to play the objectives differently. It allows me to play the objectives, honestly, way more aggressively. 9 times out of 10 in all these other Battlefield games that have 3D spotting, people just throw a bunch of smokes, spam the spot button, eventually someone's going to get spotted, and then you just go ahead and beam people through the smoke. It's kind of like having the wall hacks, and like Delta Force, or so on and so forth. Didn't they have that ability as well in Battlefield 2042? I forgot how badly they nerfed it down in Battlefield 2042, but regardless, every game nowadays need wall hacks. Now, 3D spotting isn't the same as wall hacks, but, for a good player, it's considered practically the same. Like I said, and someone who's absolutely trying to slay out, the 3D spotting tool is so crucial. It's so crucial, and it allows you to pinpoint enemies, and they can't do anything about it besides just sit there and wait patiently until they can finally, go about their route without being spotted 24/7. And I do want to go ahead and mention one last thing for the defense side of spotting. When you are the one going ahead and spotting the enemies, I think it takes more skill to spot it 2D and work around that knowledge instead of seeing, once again, the 3D marker and just red dot chasing on your minimap, knowing their exact movement, their exact location. I think it takes more skill and it's more thoughtful to have a 2D spot, so you have to work around that. You see the 2D spot, and then you have to think, okay, well, are they flanking around? Did we damage this individual? Do you think they're going to sit there and wait, or they're going to be a bit more aggressive and try to take the position? You actually have to think, whereas when you're just spamming spot every 2 seconds, you don't got to think. Literally, all the information just instantly goes on your minimap, taking absolutely all the skill out of a lot of the engagements. I'll be real with you guys. I genuinely believe spotting should be exclusive to the recon class. If you want to be able to spot, then be a sniper at the end of the day. But when it comes to assault, support, engineers, I think it should be strictly stuck to 2D spotting, just to make the combat a bit more fair. And honestly, I don't know how a lot of you guys are going to respond to this, this video I'm making here. Because in all reality, 3D spotting is the norm of Battlefield, right? I think that's what a lot of people are comfortable with. So I feel like I'm kind of on the outside of this topic here, and a lot of people might not agree with me. But I really want people to actually sit and think about how much more skillful the game will be and less cheesy. A lot of the BS deaths where you're like, okay, I don't understand. I'm getting pre-fired. Someone's shooting me through a bunch of foliage. I'm getting, someone's plopping down the wall because I know I'm right. All of those deaths and moments could be completely countered if we just strictly went to the 2D spotting system. And again, allowing snipers to have that, 3D spotting feature. I think that's a perfect middle ground. But again, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people enjoy 3D spotting. They get a lot of fun out of it. And I'm not going to lie, I like abusing it too. But I notice, again, as someone who is pretty competitive and sweaty when it comes to Battlefield, I've been playing Battlefield for a long time. I love the franchise. And I'm not going to go ahead and deny it. I like to try to catch as many frags as I could possibly get. And when I'm playing, I notice in a lot of the games that do have 3D spotting, all of my attention goes to spam spotting. That's it. You spot as many people as possible, and you instantly know exactly what they're doing, where they're at, regardless if you're playing defense or offense. It just basically gives you cheat codes to know exactly how the enemies are about to play the situation that they're currently in. Whereas in Battlefield 5, that wasn't the case. People had to actually use their brains and think about how people will move, how they will rotate, and they would have to talk to one another. If they're going to ping something, they have to say, look, I pinged here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's where he's still at. That was a general location, and you have to use your brain to understand where they might be going from there. But ladies and gentlemen, so far from what I hear in the current Battlefield playtest, that's how the game is going to be. It's going to have 2D spotting just like in Battlefield 5. Recons can get 3D spotting. And the rest of the classes, like I said, you're going to have to use your brain a little bit and just kind of track them down. It's not going to be a permanent ping where you can follow them on a minimap. It's just going to be a general location, unless obviously it could be a hard ping if they don't move, but you get the concept. Now, I don't know if this is going to change. It could go back to 3D spotting. We'll see. But in all reality, I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say about this overall system. Would you guys prefer it like Battlefield 5, where it's just a 2D ping, and it's not going to be a hard 3D ping on a minimap where you can track their movement and see where they're going? It's just basically a general location, of course, unless you get them, locked up behind cover, then you can really track them. Or do you guys prefer the 3D spotting system, where it's more so to give you an advantage on dark areas, big open spaces where you can spot people and find them. People are trying to be a little cheeky, a little campy. You can, pin down their location a lot easier. Which side do you guys want to see the next Battlefield game hyper-prioritize? But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And, of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.